Hey trainers, you have Pokémon Master TC, and today we are playing What If? In this series, I'm going to be discussing a theory or a what if in the Pokemon universe. And in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing what if Ash woke up on time. Because in the beginning of the anime, Ash misses his alarm clock. He breaks it and he ends up late to Professor Oak's lab. So today we are playing What If Ash Woke Up on Time. Now, if you love Pokemon content, including rankings, discussions, and showcases of rare items from the Pokemon franchise, make sure you hit that sub button because I've got plenty of Pokemon content on the way and I've already gotten a few videos out there. So it would help me a lot if you subscribe to my channel, trainers. All right, let's get into our first episode of What If? Pokemon changed my life. It became my first addiction. The TV show, games, cards, and toys. I was enamored by it all. Becoming a Pokemon Master was all that I cared about as a kid. And so, I became one. Join me, Pokemon Master TC, as I relive the most nostalgic part of my childhood and showcase my Pokemon collection, and most important of all, share my love of Pokemon with you. Trainers, let's start this game of What If by stating the facts. So in the first episode of the Pokemon show that was titled Pokemon I Choose You, Ash was supposed to wake up early and arrive at Professor Oak's laboratory to choose his starter. And when he's dreaming, he dreams of Squirtle, Charmander, and Bulbasaur. But we all know he does not wake up on time, and that means he would end up getting Pikachu as a last resort. And we all know what happened with Ash and Pikachu. They would go on to have epic adventures together. But what if Ash woke up on time? What would have happened? Who would he have chose? And does that affect the Pokemon show and Ash's future? Let's get into it. So it has been confirmed that Ash's top choice for a Pokemon was going to be Squirtle. But it's also been confirmed that Gary, who was Ash's biggest rival at that time, also wanted Squirtle. And so let's pretend that Ash arrives at the laboratory on time. Gary, being Professor Oak's grandson, I think he would have gotten to choose first, and that means that Gary still would have gotten Squirtle, and so that takes Squirtle out of the equation for Ash. So that leaves 2 Pokemon left with Charmander and Bulbasaur and 3 trainers, including Ash. Now I think Ash is pretty hard-headed, and I also think he's pretty competitive, and so I don't think Ash was going to wait around to see who anyone else picked. When he saw Gary pick Squirtle, he would want to choose his next Pokemon. Now, he could have chosen Charmander, but I think Professor Oak may have stepped in because Charmander is probably the hardest starter to handle, and seeing that Ash was pretty mature at that time, I feel like Professor Oak would have stepped in and said, maybe that's not a good idea that you take Charmander. I also think that Ash may have realized that Charmander would have been weak against Gary's Squirtle, being that Charmander is a fire type and that Squirtle is a water type. And Ash would want any advantage over Gary. So that means my theory is that Ash would have chosen Bulbasaur. Now, Bulbasaur is an excellent choice for beginning trainers, and Ash was a beginner. And so I think Professor Oak probably would have pushed Bulbasaur onto Ash, and Ash may have reluctantly accepted, but he would have accepted because he knows that Bulbasaur would have been strong against Gary's Squirtle. So how does that decision affect the rest of the Pokemon series, specifically the first season? I think it affects it a lot because Pikachu was very disobedient. He didn't respect Ash, and that caused a huge commotion and a lot of chaos in the very first episode of Ash being chased by the Spearow and eventually earning Pikachu's respect. But with Bulbasaur at his side, I feel like Bulbasaur would have helped Ash out a lot sooner than Pikachu did, meaning that Ash could have potentially caught a Spearow, a Rattata, a Pidgey, all of those Pokemon that he sees in the first episode. I think him and Bulbasaur probably would have made a really solid team, and that Ash could have started collecting Pokemon right from the start. But this also comes with some pros and cons. Yes, I think Bulbasaur would have immediately helped Ash as a trainer, and Ash would lean on Bulbasaur more so than he did with Pikachu. With Pikachu, Ash and Pikachu had to learn to be a team, and it was really 50-50. With Bulbasaur, Bulbasaur probably would have taken the lead and helped Ash earn his way to catching some Pokemon and earning some badges, especially against Brock, who was Rock type, and Misty, who was Water type. So Bulbasaur would have helped Ash out tremendously in the short term. But in the long term, I think that because Ash really had to learn who he was as a trainer, he had to learn the respect of his Pokemon like Pikachu, it made him stronger and a better trainer in the long run. With Bulbasaur, I think he would have been strong at the beginning, but he would have missed some key important lessons that would lead him to becoming a much better trainer down the road. So that is my theory on what if Ash woke up on time. I think he would have gotten Bulbasaur, and I think he would have been a strong trainer to start, but he would have missed some key important lessons that would make him a better trainer down the line, like he was eventually with Pikachu. But that's just my theory. I want to hear from you trainers. What do you guys think would have happened if Ash woke up on time? Would he have still gotten Pikachu? Would he have gotten Charmander? Or maybe he would have fought Gary in a fist fight and gotten Squirtle right from the start. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to watch plenty of Pokemon rankings, Pokemon discussions, and plenty of Pokemon what ifs. I also have Pokemon of the Week on my channel. That is a weekly video where I do a deep dive into one of the original 150 Pokemon, and I'll be discussing their appearances in the anime, the games, and the trading card game. You don't want to miss that, so make sure you hit that sub button. Trainers, make sure you try and catch them all.